Welcome to another episode of Lifting You Up with Kasandra Prieto, your best friend in real estate, sponsored by Tucson Appliance, Chris and Corbin Edwards. A spotlight where we shine a light on the stories that inspire, uplift, and remind us we're not alone on this journey. Today I'm so excited because I have the absolute joy of welcoming someone very special to me. Not just because of his incredible professional journey, but because of the character, wisdom, and heart that he brings into every room that he walks into. Armando Coronado, ¿cómo estás?
That was such an intro. Thank you.
Was that a good intro?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Was it welcoming enough?
I feel a little nervous now.
Oh, good. That's what we're trying to do. No, just kidding. Well, good. So before we dive into this amazing introduction that I truly want to give for Armando, if you're just tuning in right now, you're literally in for a treat. I want to go over why lifting you up. Why did we put this together? What is the intent? What is the purpose behind this? Our mission is to elevate, empower, and celebrate the stories of Hispanic leaders and local business owners in our community. Through meaningful, heartful conversations, we shine a light on individuals who have overcome cultural conditioning, self-doubt, and struggle, and have chosen to rise, lead, and inspire. This platform, co-hosted by Chris Edward and myself, is dedicated to telling more than just stories. It's about sharing real turning points, deep self-discoveries, and the wisdom gained along the way. We believe these voices matter. They reflect the heart of our community and strength within our culture. So make sure if you just tuned in that you have a pen and paper and that you're ready to take notes and takeaways, because that is the true purpose of this show. So with that said, now, before I dive into my guest's bio today, Armando, I want to know how you're feeling.
Thank you. No, I'm still feeling a little nervous. It's weird. I think this is my first time doing a radio show. And excited. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
We're really, really excited to actually, this is the first time you're doing a radio show?
Ever, yes.
Oh, this is so cool. This is even like more special to us, I think. Well, we're really excited to hear your story, your share. And as you kind of went over some of the questions that we have, I'm going to go ahead and make the introduction of who you are and a little bit about your background. Let me have it handy right over here. And before we dive into that, I always ask people this question: how long have you known each other?
I think we're going on 20 years now.
20 years, but we met when we were one.
that makes sense. Yeah, somewhere around 20 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Somewhere around. I love it because I feel like there's so many people that I know, and I've known them for such a long time, but I don't know much about them. So these shows have been really cool to really dive into learning a little bit more about people. So again, we're really excited to hear all of it. Armando Coronado is a respected voice in both financial and entrepreneurship, with 18 years of experience helping people and businesses grow. Based here in Tucson, he currently works with Gravity Payments, where he supports local businesses with transparency, integrity, and a genuine desire to see them succeed. And I genuinely can tell you that I know this firsthand. His career began in banking, where he spent years guiding individuals and companies towards financial stability. He later stepped into entrepreneurship as a partner in an automotive company, showing he's not just a strategist, but someone willing to take risks and build from the ground up. And for that, Armando, not everybody really does that, like takes a leap, and that is wonderful. What truly sets Armando apart goes beyond job titles. It's his grounded presence, relentless work ethics, and the way he brings both ambition and humility to everything he does. If that wasn't an awesome introduction, I don't know what is.
That was a bit much, but thank you. Wow, that was very nice. Thank you.
Well, again, we're really excited to have you, and I really want to hear your stories. So I'm going to dive right into the questions. The question that I have first, and this is a bilingual show, so feel free to use whatever language you feel more comfortable with. But what's been a moment in your life that shifted you, like where you felt you had to take you had two choices of a path, and it was like a turning point for you.
Wow, we're diving right into it, huh?
Oh yeah, we're diving right in. This is the show.
Do you mean professionally or
And
personally
so
or
I love
both?
I love that you bring that up. So part of this show is really I want you to feel comfortable sharing whatever you want to feel. So some individuals have shared really deep personal stories, and that always makes it really great. Some people have shared a lot of their challenges through business decisions. So whichever one pops like to mind and that you feel comfortable sharing.
Wow. Let's see. That's a loaded question. I
Turning
did
point.
not want
Turning point. Think about it, okay?
to.
And like there's a lot of turning points, right? In
Right.
life. Like I remember the last guy I had here, Neil, he was like, there's just so many of them.
Yeah.
So which one like is the first one that pops in your mind that you're like, gosh, this time I had something so difficult and it was so hard to make the decision, but I made it. And I just want to know how that kind of shaped you. So it doesn't mean necessarily you made a decision and a turning point and it all went great. Like I want to hear about the process and the journey.
Okay. Well, let's see. Like you mentioned, I've been in the industry for quite some time, but
Mm-hmm.
a big turning point for me, professionally and personally, happened at the around the same time frame. Um, I was in banking for such a long time, almost 15 years. Prior to that, I've been in the sales environment for 18 years, but I got into banking when I was early 20s. And I went from teller to manager to service manager to you name it. And then I got into commercial banking, business banking management. And then um, one of my clients one day approached me about potentially joining their business.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I was going through a divorce in my life,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. And it was at that moment that my that was a huge turning point in my life. My
Yeah.
complete vision of where I wanted to be, where I thought I was going, the direction I was going, everything shifted. Everything shifted. So I figured, you know what, I was already up for promotion in my banking career, and I decided, where, you know what, if I'm already going through this divorce process, I think I'm willing to take a risk, and I went for it. So I got into entrepreneurship. I became a partner in the automotive industry. It was automotive accessories, and I was the director of sales and marketing there, and finance, and you name it. When it's a small business, you wear a lot of hats.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a small ownership in there, and I did that for about 2 years, and I figured, it's worth the risk. It's worth um, taking. I'm still young. I'm 36 now.
I'm very young.
Yeah, well, thank
Very
you.
young.
But I feel older. When life throws
Don't
you,
say that.
it's
Really
true.
chicharrón, que se te da chicharrón la boca.
Es la verdad. When you go through a lot of things like that, life throws you some punches, and you have to learn, right? So, um, go ahead.
Go ahead.
That just, to me, it pushed me. It got me out of my comfort zone, where I said, you know what, it's worth the risk. I'm going to go for it, and I did. We grew the business and made it more efficient. I grew the revenue for the business for about 1.5 million. I literally created their whole marketing department. I also increased the sales, like I mentioned, but we saved about $500,000 in expenses, because of making more efficient and improving systems and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
Okay, well, let me dive in here because
go ahead,
I just want to reflect, and
please.
this is part of what the show is takeaways. Right at the end of the month, Chris and I really go through takeaways of all of these stories, and what I hear is in a moment of chaos, because it wasn't just something to do with your business, it was something so personal and so challenging. Like there is so much about going through some kind of a loss in a sense, and all the changes that come along with that. But one of the things that most people do is they play it safe, especially during those moments. And one of the things that really captured my attention is how in the middle of all of that chaos, you're like, all right, let's add on something that will
More
that
chaos.
well but and you could some people could see it like that, right? Normally people would see it like that, but in my mind is if you're willing to take a risk in those moments,
Mm-hmm.
then you're willing to take a risk in a lot worse you're not afraid to take a risk. And when you talk about leadership and people that know how to guide people. It's about making decisions. It's not about making the right or wrong decision. You made a decision and it impacted a portion of your life, and you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time to take my business to the next level, and you just went for it. And that takes a lot of courage. That's not just something that somebody does in those circumstances. So that is pretty powerful, I think. Something for you to know. Oh, which leads me right into my next question about yourself. And without me like really giving you more on this, my next question is, what did you learn about yourself that you never knew you had in you?
Whew.
Through all of that. O
Okay.
sea, ¿qué no pensabas que tenías en ti? Decir, o sea, what are you made of? You know, like all of those things. Like, what's the thing that stands out the most that you're like, God, I really didn't think I was gonna do that, or have it in me to get through.
Another loaded question. But before I answer that, I do want to say thank you for hyping me up because that's all you've been doing. I appreciate that.
Good.
But no, through that process, something I learned was that I can handle a lot of stress. I realized that I have a capability of managing a lot of stress. When you're managing 20 people in the company plus another 20 sales reps, and plus going through the divorce, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So one thing I learned throughout this whole process is I think I learned my limitations. I also learned what direction not to take, in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also learned that how comfortable I'm with risk. And those are some big factors that now I look differently when I approach anything. I seem to be a little more, I calculate my steps a little bit more, if that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
So you're a little more cautious, or maybe you just like you marinate on situations a little bit before jumping into them. Is that what you're saying? Or
That's exactly it. Yeah, I'm more
okay,
cautious. Yeah.
okay,
I just don't want to get into a position or in a situation where, you know, I'm trying to minimize risk at times. Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
But you learn that you can handle a lot of stress, and that's huge because majority of individuals right now, they just don't.
It's unfortunate.
Right. So you can handle a lot of stress. That's great. And then your level of comfort with risks.
Yes, much higher level of comfort with risk.
Okay.
I think risk it's unique because you can take risks, but calculate a risk, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So that yeah, I learned that about me, where I'm able to make decisions in a way that I never thought I was capable of, and that was going through that
I
full experience.
love that.
Yeah.
I learned how to take risks that I never knew I was capable of.
Correct.
Gosh, that leads me right into my last question.
No more
Oh my
questions. No more questions,
god.
please.
I love this. Okay, so okay, last question. If somebody's listening to you right now, outside of that, just that last statement that you said, I love that. How just you never knew you could, but you did. If somebody's listening to you right now and they're thinking of um, I don't know, trying something new. They're going through a really, really tough situation. Um, what advice would you give them to focus, to look inside, like to get through that situation? And let me
Yes.
take you back to that, right?
Okay.
And I don't know what you were going through, and nobody knows, nobody is you. But during those circumstances, what do you remember being the most helpful getting through? I mean, we talk about emotions, we talk about uh, financial, like there was there was so much transition in such a transitioning time. What helps someone get through that? And like, look at you right now, Sandy. We're gonna all talk about gravity and what you're doing and like where you're at, and I love that. But what gets Armando Coronado, a Hispanic person that was conditioned just like everybody else? There was no teaching you about you get through these things like this and like that. What is it? What would you say?
Oh man.
What would you tell that person listening right now? They don't know what to do, how to get through it, how to feel, how not to feel.
you know, I think that's I'm still going through a lot of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I'm still living life. I'm still trying to understand what life is, right? I think I remember growing up, you saw your parents and like, oh, okay, wow, they got life figured out. But turns out when you get that age, you realize that they don't at all. They had no clue. They were doing their best. And that's the approach I take at times. I just focus on taking it one step at a time. I'm still figuring a lot of things out, believe me. But if I could tell somebody, it's like, you know what, write it down and take it one step at a time. Focus one item that you can challenge today, because like anything in life, it takes a long time. Everything is slow. Unfortunately, we're very impatient. I'm very impatient. And sometimes I have to remind myself that it's one step at a time. And that's my advice. Just build a plan and try to make the steps for it and tackle it that way.
I I absolutely love this. So, two big takeaways for me, and as you see, I actually take notes of what I'm listening. But I love that you said we all do our best, right? And that's the most we can give.
Yeah.
And the time in our moments. And I know where you are today. I mean, I wasn't like super close friends with you when you were going through all of that stuff, and I don't know what it was for you, but I can tell you that whatever it is that you did, and whether that's taking it one step at a time. And I know you also mentioned I don't think we ever get there. We
No.
don't ever get to that place. We're always working on ourselves. So of course you mentioned that nobody has anything figured out, like not everything, right? But you take one bite at a time, you take one step at a time, and you do your absolute best. And I think that's the most that we could do as human beings.
I agree.
So
I'm still figuring it out. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
we all
absolutely.
are, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that we ever stop. Well, cool. Okay, so, a ver, ¿qué te pareció? ¿Qué te parecieron mis preguntas antes de hacerte un poquito más?
Ay, muy nervioso, pero un poquito más profundo de lo que pensé, la verdad.
Más profundo de lo que pensaste.
Sí, pero está muy
Ok.
bien.
Sí, bueno, pues agradecemos mucho, mucho tus comentarios, el compartir. Como te digo, muchas personas que vienen, hay algunas que comparten bastante y hay algunas que no nos sentimos tan a gusto. Entonces, todo es para esa personita que está escuchando y que está pasando algo similar. A veces es escuchar una voz de alguien que ya lo pasó, que todavía lo está pasando, pero qué tan bonito escuchar que it's not, ok, ya llegué, esto va a pasar como si nada. Siempre lo vas a estar trabajando, pero siempre vas a estar mejorando, y es a donde vamos ahorita. ¿En dónde estás ahorita tú? ¿Qué estás haciendo? Y bueno, te tengo algunas preguntas. Es Gravity Payments.
Sí,
¿Sí?
así es.
Ok. A ver, yo tengo tres preguntitas para ti, Armando. Específicamente porque creo que muchas, o sea, ese tema a veces es difícil de entender y mucha gente se confunde bueno, tenemos una persona que conocemos y a veces no nos explican bien. Entonces, yo quiero que tú me digas a mí dos, tres cositas. Cuéntame sobre el programa de recargos por tarjeta. ¿Cómo ayuda realmente a los negocios locales y ahorra en comisión?
Muy bien. Bueno, a lo que te refieres con recargos es surcharging.
Ujú,
Eso es lo que se escucha en el ambiente, pero pues bueno, para decirte un poquito más, Gravity Payments es una compañía, nos encargamos para ayudar a negocios a dar tarjetas de crédito,
ujú,
terminales, kioscos y varios productos. Um, pero es una industria que pues mucha gente no sabe cómo trabaja, cómo funciona,
ujú.
o ven a alguien y dicen, ay, me cobran muchísimo. Le digo, no, pues es que realmente hay tantas manos en ese pastel, se puede decir, ¿no?
Ajá.
Porque nosotros somos una compañía que provee los servicios, pero tienes Visa, Mastercard, American Express, y luego los bancos. O sea, realmente el porcentaje, el 95% de lo que un negocio pague en cobros, se van para esas compañías, no se van para las empresas que les ayudan con las terminales.
Ujú.
Um, y esa es la gran diferencia. Entonces, lo que tratamos de hacer nosotros en Gravity es ser un poquito más transparentes con los clientes y ser justos, o sea, enseñarles lo que están pagando, lo que realmente nos están pagando a nosotros y el porcentaje que se le va a los otros negocios. Y con surcharging, con recargos, muchas veces lo que le ofrece al negocio es pasar esos cobros a los clientes, porque desafortunadamente pues, es
Ajá.
caro.
Es cuando alguien, o sea, si vas a pasar un costo, te dicen, ah, pues te vamos a agregar este dólar o lo que sea.
Así es,
Ok.
ajá, eso viene siendo
Ujú,
surcharging. Se hizo legal hace como un año y medio aquí en Arizona,
ujú.
no era
Sí, se
legal
lo he visto
antes.
más.
Pero pues ahora es la manera que los negocios le pasan el cobro a los clientes.
Ujú,
El problema con eso es que hay muchas empresas que lo hacen y lo están haciendo mal. Por ejemplo, pues es 3% típicamente, Visa permite hasta el 4%, pero cuando ponen el 3%, lo están cobrando en todas las tarjetas, no nomás las de crédito, sino las de débito. Y
Ok,
eso es ilegal. Entonces, a nosotros lo ofrecemos, pero lo ofrecemos legalmente. A lo que me refiero con eso, las tarjetas de débito no tienen que tener ese cobro. Y muchas compañías lo hacen. Y lo que no saben los negocios es que pueden pagar multas. Por ejemplo, la primera multa es de $1,000. Y si los vuelven a multar de nuevo, es de $25,000. Y si pasa de nuevo, les pueden cerrar el negocio completamente y no pueden volver a aceptar tarjetas con Visa.
oh
Entonces es
my
muy
God.
importante que un negocio lo haga legalmente y pues como debe de ser, ¿no? Y
Ok.
es lo que nosotros hacemos. Probamos la educación y
Ujú.
nos encargamos de que los negocios lo hagan correctamente.
Para que no se vayan a meter en problemas.
Así es.
Perdón, me gusta que hablaste de transparencia, la porción de educativa, ¿no? Eso es tan importante porque ser transparente y educar a las personas de lo que están pagando, del interés que están pagando, a quién se le está pagando
Uh -huh.
y cómo quieren manejarlo para que lo estén haciendo bien. Muy bien. Perfecto. Ahora, escuché que Gravity tiene un kiosco de autopedido. ¿Cómo funciona y por qué es tan útil para restaurantes y cafés aquí en Tucson?
Claro, pues los kioscos es uno de los productos que ofrecemos, pero sí, no sé si los has visto, son unos, cuando vas a un McDonald's, por ejemplo, o...
No voy a McDonald's.
No, no vayas, qué bueno, qué bueno. Ah, bueno, sea
¿A dónde?
saludable.
No, 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 sí fui hace años.
Ajá.
Hace unos años, ¿dónde fue? Creo que fue fuera de la ciudad, pero sí, o sea, que es una maquinita ahí donde tú pones todo.
Así es. Pues
You order everything.
muchos negocios están adoptando eso que pues ahora, por ejemplo, tú vas a un Walmart o hasta el Costco, tienen máquinas que pues ya es self-checkout, ¿verdad?
Ok, eso también, self-checkout.
Viene
Ok.
siendo como un kiosco, permite a los negocios como un restaurante o cafeterías aceptar que la gente llegue y haga sus pedidos ahí para que
Ujú.
no tengan que interactuar o puede ser una manera adicional para que un negocio pueda tomar una orden sin tener que usar una persona.
Ujú.
Y típicamente le ayuda a los negocios a aumentar las ventas, porque pues la persona se siente más paciente, lo hace a su ritmo, y pues obvio que es una opción, ¿no? Muchos negocios les gusta, pero aparte de eso ofrecemos integración con muchos POS systems, o sea, sistemas operativos para negocios como restaurantes, dentistas, veterinarios, abogados,
Y
de todo.
esa es la maquinita donde vas a cargar tu tarjeta. ¿Qué
Esa
es
es,
el POS system?
Esa es la más básica. Un POS también siendo un sistema operativo como para un restaurante. Por ejemplo, nunca sé si te has dado cuenta cuando vas a un restaurante, tienen una computadora grandota, una pantalla,
Ujú.
y ahí meten su información.
Sí.
Eso es un sistema operativo para la industria de restaurantes, por ejemplo,
Ok.
pero lo ofrecemos para dentistas, veterinarios, como te digo, y
Ujú.
para todo tipo de industrias. Integramos con muchísimos sistemas operativos, aparte de los kioscos. Es la manera en donde que nos pone a nosotros un poquito diferente de la competencia, la verdad.
Ok, por los servicios agregados.
Así es.
Mira, ahí va el tequi. Ok,
El tequila DJ.
yes. Ahora, por último, mencionaste que Gravity es local, es una compañía local y bueno, y Z me había dicho eso, y que ofrece soporte en español. ¿Por qué eso es tan importante para los negocios de nuestra comunidad?
Sí, pues de hecho, mira, local en el sentido que tenemos gente aquí en Tucson, en Arizona,
Ujú,
pues yo, aparte de otros compañeros, pero nuestro soporte también es en español y aparte
ujú.
otros idiomas, por ejemplo, tenemos en japonés, en coreano y claro, en inglés. La compañía está basada en Seattle, pero tenemos equipos en diferentes estados. En
Mm.
Hawái, por ejemplo, es un mercado muy grande para nosotros.
Ajá.
Y de hecho, por eso vi es que tiene el japonés de allá. Pero sí, se enfoca en el servicio al cliente,
Ok.
porque sabemos que en esa industria, como te digo, tratamos de ser más transparentes. Se ocupa que el servicio sea adecuado para la gente que tenemos, los clientes que tenemos.
Me encanta. Pues bueno, takeaways.
A ver, dime.
Sí, yo mis takeaways. Transparencia, educación. Creo que para este tipo de servicios es tan importante tener una persona en la que no solamente confíes, pero te pueda explicar las cosas. Sí, porque muchas veces conforme vamos creciendo como negocio, creo que pues nomás relativamente buscamos a la persona, cualquier persona que alguien conozca, ¿no? Y a veces nos explican las cosas y no nos las están explicando bien
Uh -huh.
y hacemos las cosas mal o no entendemos lo que estamos haciendo, pero pues alguien nos dijo y ahí estamos haciendo. Entonces, la importancia de educarte, de entender, de lo de los precios, Armando, me encanta porque creo que en todo, muchas veces hablas de fees, ¿no? En
Sí.
las ventas, que hay un fee para acá hasta bienes raíces, que los fees del lender, que los puntos, que esto, que el otro. Entonces, el que alguien se pueda sentar contigo, explicarte y decirte, hey, aquí es lo que vas a pagarme a mí, aquí se le está pagando el interés y acá pues tienes la opción que si se lo quieres cobrar o no se lo quieres cobrar, aquí te puedes meter en problemas si no lo haces así. Todo eso es tan importante para el consumidor o el cliente,
Así
lo
es.
que va a proveer esos servicios a otras personas. Entonces, me encanta. Armando, ¿y qué tipo de clientes son los que más pueden beneficiarse de tus servicios?
Cualquier dueño de negocio, puede ser cualquier negocio que acepte tarjetas de crédito o quiera aceptar tarjetas de crédito, vale la pena tener una conversación. Puede ser 10, 15 minutos y para poder descubrir qué tipo de impacto les podemos hacer en su negocio. Muchas veces no es el ahorro del dinero, sino muchas veces es hacer un impacto en cómo procesan. Por ejemplo, como te dije temprano, puede ser el sistema operativo,
Ajá.
puede ser un kiosco. Hay muchas maneras de aceptar tarjetas de crédito y pues realmente cualquier negocio puede beneficiarse con una plática, cualquier negocio que use Spartan, Square, cualquier otra compañía de procesar, normalmente les podemos ayudar el 95% de los casos. Y si no, les digo, sabes que tienes muy buen trato como estás o no te conviene hacer un cambio, porque como no trabajamos de comisión, les somos honestos y les decimos, sabes que no es buena idea que hagas un cambio. Entonces, 10, 15 minutos de plática les puede dar esa respuesta.
Vale la pena tener una conversación contigo para ver si los puedes, si no los puedes ayudar. Y lo que me encanta que dices, y lo creo, porque conozco a Armando, que les vas a decir, ¿te conviene, no te conviene? Aquí están sistemas que a lo mejor ni sabías, pero son sistemas que puedes utilizar. Vale la pena tener una conversación y ver en qué los puedes ayudar.
Así es.
Ok, pues muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. Ya tenemos unos minutitos aquí. Yo quiero hacerte una última pregunta antes de cerrar el show.
Por favor.
What is your biggest takeaway about the show?
I was a little more vulnerable on the radio than I thought I wanted to be, but yeah,
Okay, but
that's a
you felt
takeaway.
comfortable.
Absolutely, you made it very comfortable.
Oh, good. I mean, I love hearing that. And that's what this show is all about. So, with that said, we're going to wrap up. We're going to give a big shout out to Kristen Corbin Edwards with Tucson Appliance for providing this wonderful platform to allow us to speak, to share, and to really shine light on stories. If you are tuning in for the first time, we would love to have you next Saturday, 9:30 a.m. on 92.5 Urbana. And we will see you here every Saturday. Make sure that you stay tuned for the following. And I hope that you got lots of takeaways this time. And next time, if you didn't, make sure to bring your pen and paper and take some notes. We will see you guys next show. And Armando, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Gracias.
I'll see you.